Well, my friend Western West recently came out to the cabin and brought his metal detecting equipment. I was kind of giving him the lay of the land there and was just going to kind of turn him loose, let him go. But he had two metal detectors, and he was kind enough to let me use one of them after showing me how they work. And, I'd, like everybody else, I'd heard of metal detecting, but had never been around it and certainly never done any of it. And it's pretty cool. That equipment is really precise. And Wes says if it goes off and says there's something down there, he said there's something there. I think he said he had never had an exception where he didn't find something.
So I found this Civil War bullet around the lake, but it's in perfect condition. It's never been fired, so I nicked the darn thing right there with my shovel when digging it up because I thought it was going to be a coin.
Yeah.
Or around the lake you get lead sinkers, things like that, and it is perfect condition. Right there's what nicked it there for 100 and some odd years. I mean, just
That's cool
so
stuff.
I might
I
have been
love
the
that
first
kind of
one
stuff.
that's ever touched that.
Well, you were.
Since,
I bet you were.
Since a soldier, but
No, I bet you
it's
absolutely
just
you
really
were.
cool.
That is really
And that's
neat.
It would take to cover, of course.
Pretty cool setup. It doesn't take a lot of equipment. He didn't mention. I'm not sure what those cost. I'm sure they're not cheap. And like anything else, they've got different quality levels and no doubt different technology and all. But he just threw a couple of coins out there in the gravel just to kind of show me how it works and what it sounds like when it finds something. It pinpoints it.
Now, that's pretty slick. So it tells you what it even is.
Yeah, it shows you the size of that's a dime.
So do you know the tones now?
If it goes off, he's going to find something. And it's a pretty cool deal. So we just kind of practiced there around the cabin in the gravel. And of course, there's tons of stuff up there. I told him, I said, gosh, there's buckets full of brass from all the ammo we've shot out here over the years. And no doubt nails and screws and all kinds of stuff left over from when we built the cabin and the barn, all that kind of thing. But he's got some specialized equipment. That shovel even looks like just a gardening tool, but it's made specifically for this kind of thing. And Wes said, one of the things he does, and no doubt a lot of other folks do too, is try not to dig up too much soil. Try not to disturb things too much. That's some kind of a pinpointing device, and so once you find, once your metal detector goes off and says there's something there, if you can't find it, this thing gets real precise and find, help you find whatever it is you're looking for. So that was just a old penny laying there under the gravel. And but the cool thing, you never know what you're going to find. That could have been something really worthwhile. And if you've got one of these metal detectors and you look around enough, you're probably going to find some stuff. Matter of fact, we as you'll see here, we found quite a few things just in the short time that we were messing around out there in the woods and along the drive and so forth.
That's a pretty good piece of something.
There he's on something else. He's like a bird dog, man. You turn a Western loose with that metal detector and that pinpointer and that specialized trowel there, he's going to find something. You can see there where that pinpointing device, I can't remember what it was called, but how handy that comes in if you grab a handful of dirt and rocks and what have you and sticks and put that pinpoint device on it and find it where you might have otherwise just kind of discarded it off to the side there. That it just happened to be a nail. But again, true to what Wes was saying, there was not an exception. If that device started beeping, there is a piece of metal in the ground. You can see I found an old screw there. I had to dig a hole big enough to bury a football in, but to get that darn thing out of there. And I didn't get real good at that pinpointing device. But I just a matter of probably working with it a little bit longer and figuring that out. But between having those two things and a good digging tool, that's about all you need, really, based on my limited experience of it. Wes has got it down. He's been doing this a couple of years. He's really good at it, and he also has developed a really good sense of places to spend time looking for metal or potentially buried treasure or whatever. I can see where somebody would get one of these and really just get lost in it. I mean, just spend hours a day out looking for things. And Wes said, of course, there's a lot of places you can't look. Any place that's a national park or whatever that has historical significance, like a military park, obviously would be off limits for good reason. And but there he found what turned out to be a bolt that I recognized it off my garden tractor, one I've replaced a handful of times. And at first, though, we thought we had some kind of a bullet. And of course, anytime you find a bullet or anything like that, the hope is it's old and has some kind of historical significance to it. But it was just kind of exciting, until he got that cleaned up. It was like, man, that could be something cool. So we just kept milling around and we looked in several different locations. Just kind of this area we're working in or working over right now had been cleared. I cleared it with a dozer and actually I did part of it, and a friend of mine, another fellow, Alan, cleared the rest of it. Guy that ended up becoming a friend, Alan. Anyway, we worked that field over. Just kind of went around spotty. We didn't check the whole thing. Of course, that'd take a long time. I did learn that much. It takes a while to cover any significant quantity of land. But again, Wes has he's developed an eye for it. So he was digging around down there and ended up finding some little something or other there under that old dogwood tree. It's a good day for being out in the woods, romping. We got to talking about morel mushrooms and how I've been looking for those darn things, and Wes has a little bit of experience with morels. So after we got done doing our metal detecting, we walked down in the woods where I'd recently burned and did a little morel hunting. Piece of metal Wes found down in there. So, I don't know, we probably spent maybe an hour and a half looking around and came up with that tray full of stuff, that frisbee full of stuff there. A lot of that stuff I recognize is stuff that I've no doubt dropped in, those old shell casings and stuff that we've shot. And a couple old nails that didn't look like modern day nails, that piece of metal, that big piece, I don't know what that's out of. That could be about anything. But just odds and ends, a couple of coins, a few coins, a couple of pennies, I think, and one big piece of metal, a chunk that we weren't sure what it is or what it was. But anyway, we dropped down in off the side of the hill down in there below the cabin, around in that area where I burned off here several weeks ago, and I still don't think we've had enough days in a row of the right temperature, but we'll see what happens here soon. Metal detecting, morel mushroom hunting, varieties, the spice of life. It's always fun to change it up and do some different stuff. But Wes, glad you came out, man, if you happen to watch this, and we'll look forward to you coming out again. We didn't find any gold or silver, we didn't find any morels, but you know what, you never know. You just got to keep on looking.